Welcome to the Army Empire Podcast, your go-to podcast for insightful tips on investment strategies, entrepreneurship, and all things money matters. Join Bernard Alerte, your guide on this journey to financial freedom. Each episode will dive into expert advice, practical strategies, and inspiring stories to help you take control of your financial future. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned investor, we've got something for everyone. So get ready to unlock your financial potential and make your money work for you. And now, let's welcome your host, Bernard Alerte.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. I'm doing well, Bernard. How are you doing?
Excited to be here. Yes.
Ready for a new episode?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, let's do this thing. Listen, we are live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. And we're watching the numbers already come in as folks are joining us. You already know that you must interact with us. We want you to ask questions to our financial coach here. Please share this with someone that you know who may just receive some good nuggets from here, because this is an educational podcast. And today, Bernard has something exciting and a new topic for us.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, we talked about a couple months ago. We talked about different retirement plans, different IRAs, and we talked about the differences between different IRAs, the traditional IRA, Roth IRA, 401k, different plans like that. But we want to focus more on a Roth IRA, the power of a Roth IRA. Not only that, but also a lot of concepts we talked about last week, for example, about dollar cost averaging, diversification, and we want to put it all together versus not only having the right vehicle to invest your money for retirement long term, also doing it the right way, to consistent. How does that work, actual numbers wise? And we're doing something a little different, because I don't like to sometimes use actual historical numbers on different funds, because, on social media, kind of crazy. You got to be very careful, right? Not to mislead with numbers. But we wanted to use actual scenario, actually show a live scenario. If someone did that long term, the difference that would make in that person's life? Very, very simple concept. Real quick.
Okay.
So we're excited about that. So let's look at why invest in a Roth IRA, right? And very simple. See, a Roth IRA can be a highly effective way to save for retirement. It's called, what does IRA stands for? Again, it's an individual retirement account, right?
Okay.
Exactly. That's what it stands for, individual retirement account, right?
Yeah, you're breaking this down very elementary for me.
Exactly.
Not for anybody else. This is for me.
I felt this. Listen, the first time I heard the words IRA, I didn't know what it meant. I thought it meant Irish Republican Army. So I really didn't know what it meant. But I said, it means individual retirement account. Okay, it makes so much sense, right? And what it does is you pay your taxes up front, and you let your contributions accumulate while earnings compound and grow tax-free. What does that actually mean? That means, for example, you already got paid. The difference between a 401k, for example, when you put a certain money towards your 401k, it's called pre-tax. What does that mean? They're taking money out of your check. Okay. So let's say if you're making $4,000 a month, right? That's your gross pay. If you take 10% out, so what happens, the company takes 4%, which is $400 out of your check, they invest it for you. So you're not gonna get taxed on $4,000, you can get taxed on $3,600, right?
Gotcha.
And they invest. That's called pre-tax. That's what the 401k companies do. Roth IRA actually is the money that's left over. You already got taxed. Now you have money left over. So it's your take-home pay. So you are investing a Roth IRA from your take-home pay. So you already pretty much been taxed on the money already. So now whatever money you put in towards is called tax-free, right? In other words. It's tax-free. And what's the benefits of Roth IRA? Number one, contributions are made after tax dollars, and you can't deduct it because it's after tax. Okay.
Correct.
But you're able to withdraw at any time, tax and penalty free. See, a lot of the contributions you put towards, or people don't realize that any money contributions you put towards a Roth IRA, actually, you can actually take the money out. You're able to withdraw at any time, your contributions. Makes sense? At any time, tax and penalty free. So let's say if you put money in Roth IRA, you put let's say $10,000 of your own money in a Roth IRA, right? Now the account has grown to $15,000 interest. You can take anytime the $10,000 anytime, any withdrawal anytime, tax and penalty free. Makes sense? So it's a benefit, right? Now, qualified distribution is also tax free. That means when you take the money out, when you retire, it's also tax free. Okay. Now, there's no age restrictions in IRA. There's no age restrictions whatsoever, right? Which is great. Okay, so anybody can fund. Even you can have a minor IRA. Even a minor, like if you have a young child, you can actually put money in a Roth IRA for them. This is to show that they're earning some income, right? And you could put for a child Roth IRA. Also, there's no minimum required distribution, we call RMDs, right? What does that actually mean? That means the government, see, you're putting money towards your retirement plan every single month, right? Now, what the government wants you to do is called tax deferred. So they say they're not going to tax you right now on the money, but they want you to take the money out so you can you can pay taxes on it. So a year, like when you're 72 and a half, I think age is 72 and a half, 73, you have to start taking money from your retirement plans. You are required to do it. Okay. So if you have a traditional IRA, you have to take money. You're required to do that, right? If you have a 401k, you're required to start taking. You can't let that money sit there because the government says, we allow you to grow money tax free. Now we want some of that money right now, tax you. So you're required in a Roth IRA, you're not required to take the money out at any time. Okay, you're not required to do that, right? And there's also no income tax for inherited Roth IRA. So let's say you had a Roth IRA. Now you want to pass it on to your beneficiary. As long as they open up a Roth IRA, which call a benefit IRA, right? Roth IRA for themselves, you can actually transfer the money you have tax-free towards your beneficiaries. You can't do that in a traditional IRA, and you can't do that in a 401k. But Roth IRA, you can actually transfer, right? Transfer the money to a beneficiary, right? So it's called Benny IRA, beneficiary IRA. You can transfer the money, Roth IRA, and they can actually take the money. There's no income tax on it whatsoever.
And they can put it in their own Roth IRA?
Absolutely. Though they have to set up a beneficiary IRA, specific one.
Got you.
Beneficiary IRA. But that's the good part about that, right? If you think about it. So that's the benefits of it. Now, let me actually show you actual scenario. If somebody was, think about Roth distribute, and also another benefit you can do, right? Assets must be held. Now, say, well, Bernard, I need the money. I have an emergency. I need the money before that. I mean, things happen in life, right? Now, assets must be held for at least 5 years, right? You have to keep for 5 years. And distribution, you can take money out. Let's say if you're at least 59 and a half, of course. If you have some kind of disability, you can take the money out. They won't tax you on it. Or you won't get early penalty on it, right? Distribution. Now, payments could be made to your beneficiary after death, like we talked about, right? And at the same time, a withdrawal attempt, so you can actually take some of the monies, right? Some of the money from the Roth IRA or withdraw up to $10,000 is used either to buy a home, you build a home, rebuild a home, or first-time home buyer. So you can take $10,000 out of that Roth IRA and can put towards get taxed on it, okay? Towards you buying a house, right? Which is awesome, right? And also, we draw up to $5,000 is used towards the birth of a child, right? So if you have a child, so there's a lot of loopholes that you can actually use some of the money up front. That's not only to your 59 and a half, right?
That's cool.
Now, anything else, you might get taxed on it. Anything else, but those are loopholes you're able to do that, right? Now, let me show you the power, right? Let's say if somebody started, if you were 20, what would happen if a 25-year-old, right, started investing $550 a month in a Roth IRA, and they did it from 25 to 60, right, $550 a month, right? They allow you the good thing that you can put up to $7,000 a year in a Roth IRA, and if you're over 50, right, they allow you to put up to $8,500, right? So think about it. You invest $550 a month consistently. You're 25 years to you're 60. Now, if you look at the next slide, and this is actually, we wanted to use an actual investment. This is an actual mutual fund that we use. We can't see what it is, right? But it's an actual mutual fund that we actually use. It's been around since 1968. And we could have used, couple of different 100 ones, and the numbers will come out pretty much similar for most of them, right? So think about it. They invested $238,000 on money, so $550 a month, right? They did that from 25 to 60. So they invested $238,000 total of their own money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's take a look. What would it amount to? 238,000 would turn to, if you look at the next slide.
Okay, I'm so into the numbers.
I know.
Wow.
That 238,000 grew to almost $2.6 million at age 60.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And I can spend some time on those numbers here, all these little numbers, right? But I'm not gonna bore it. But if you think about it, right? 238,000 grew to almost $2.6 million when you're 60, right? Which is powerful. Think about it, right? $550 a month, right? That's $550 a month. Listen, if someone was making $50,000 a year, you could maybe put away $550 a month, right? If you made 50, so people think you need a lot of money to have a lot of money, right? You don't. You just need to be consistent, right? $550 a month, they 25, right? Till age 6. And think about when you were 25 years old, how many of us wasted $500 sometimes? We all did. All of us did, right? $550 a month to almost 2.6 million, just being consistent at age 6.
I think that's the key word right there. It's literally because someone was being consistent.
Exactly. Didn't stop. And if you look at it, if you look at the event, if you look at it, you may not see those numbers on the top right. It tells you the performance of that fund during that time. It has a lot of up years, right? Some down years. Up years, very like a mutual fund, fluctuates a little bit, right? Up years and down years, but the key, they stay consistent. Like we talked about last week. They were dollar cost averaging $2.550 a month every month, right? No matter what happened. So whether the fund was going up or going down, they still invested $550 a month, right?
Right.
They stayed disciplined, right? And we talk about the 3Ds, right? They were diversified, right? They had a mutual fund that was diversified, right? Think about it. And I want you to imagine this, right? Imagine if you spoke to, let's say, your friend or your relative, and you say, and you ask, listen, how much money you have saved for your time? Oh, I have about 2.6. You're like, what? 2.6 million? How did you get that? Oh my gosh. What did you do? It must be something fancy. You must have been lucky. You must put a lot of money. Oh my God. I want to imagine your friend told you, right? Listen, I'm gonna do a class and show you exactly how I accumulate $2.6 million every time. And I'm gonna charge $100 to teach you that class. I bet you there'll be people lining up. I'll invest $100 to know how to have 2.6 at retirement, right? And guess, let me tell you, everybody with their notes, right? We'll have a tape recorder ready to record it. And guess what they would say? That class would take about 30 seconds. Here's what I did. At 25, I started putting away $550 a month. Every month. From no stop, right? Even though I didn't feel like it, I did. I didn't look at the news. I didn't look at anything else. I just had $550 a month every month, and this fund, and this how I had 2.6 million. Like, hold on a second, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy. I didn't have any specific degree. I didn't have any specific research. I wasn't there researching stocks. I wasn't there trying to time the market. I just allowed myself to have time in the market.
In the market. Yeah. I remember when you said that. That's
all they did. All they did. There's no IUL that'll give you that return. There's no bank account that's gonna get nothing. Right? They stay consistent. And even let's take it a step. Let's look at the next slide. Take it a step further, right? Now, that person is 60 years old. That person is 60 years old. Say, you know what? I'm ready to retire. I'm 60 years old, right? And guess what? They stop putting any more money into it because I'm retired right now. They just say, you know what? I'm going to give myself $150. I want to take $150,000 a year out, which is $12,500 a month, right? And I'm going to do that for the next 20 years, right? At age 80, till I'm 80, for example, right? Yeah. $150 a year, right? So think about it. Even if that person never made That person could have never made more than 75,000 or 80,000. Never even made a six-figure income, because you don't need to make a six-figure income to invest $550 a month. You don't need to make 60,000 to invest $550 a month, right?
So true.
And they said, I'm gonna give myself $150,000. And also remember, it's a Roth IRA, so the money's tax-free. So they'll pay zero taxes on $150,000, right? But we have a problem here, Liz. Why? Because $150,000 a year times 21 years equals 3.1 million. So listen, you had 2.6 million, but you took, right, 3.1 million, right? If you look at the next slide, right?
Yeah, that was the 2.5 here.
Yes,
but then we got here.
Yes. So now, if you look at it, it tells you in the chart distribution how much they took out during that time. So they took 3.1 million. How much would they have left, right? If you look, I can't be right. Yeah. How much do they have left? Check this out. And now at age 80, how much money should this person have in their fund? Remember, they started with 2.5 million. Now they took out 3.1 million. The math doesn't make sense.
No, that doesn't make sense.
This is going to blow you away. Check this out. That person will still have $8.7 million left.
But how?
Exactly. they took 3.1 million, right? 3.1 million now, and guess what? They still have $8.7 million left because of three concepts we talk about: dollar cost averaging, diversification, right?
We talked about it last week.
And staying disciplined. See, mutual funds pay you a lot of ways. They accept something called dividends. It keeps growing. Even if you take money, it keeps compounding. So that person is 80 years old and still have $8.7 million left. And wow. I know this is math. Oh my gosh, how can I listen? That's the power of investing. 8.7 million. And guess what they can do? They can transfer that. Let's say that person can live another 80, 90, but I'm using 80, but 80 years old. Let's say somehow, God forbid, they passed away at 80. Guess what they can do? That 8.7 million can be transferred to beneficiary IRA, tax free. This is a power. And that fund, if you look at that fund average throughout the whole time, that fund's been around since 1968. So it has been around, has a really good track record. So I was able to for a long term, show exactly how that fund will come out to, right? So that tells you. Now people say, Bernard, I'm not 25. That's not going to work for me. Maybe I'm 30. Well, maybe you're 30, 65, your number will come out the same way, right? You did 550. Maybe you're 40. Maybe you may not have 8.7 million left, but you can have something. Maybe you can't take $150,000 a year, right? But maybe you can take 50,000. Whatever the amount. Maybe that's what you can take. Everybody's number is different. The key is to get started.
Right.
Invest. The key is to invest, to max out your Roth IRA. The power of investing, the power. And guess what? No, this is 1968 up until 2025, up to 2025 to show the performance of that fund. Right? Wow. That's the power. Staying invested, which is very, very powerful. But again, I have to, if you look at the next slide, I have to talk about disclosures, right? Number one is the for performance, right? Just let you know, a hypothetical, historical on the funds, they're not made, it's select, right? It's not hypothetical, illustration purposes, and they're not a guarantee of future results, okay? Right. I don't want anyone to think, oh my, if I do this, the same thing's going to happen. No, it's no guarantee, but we showed historical. Everybody's number is different. Past results are no guarantee of future results. Funds fluctuate. You have to find something you're comfortable with that fits your investment style, right? Your investment risk profile. But this shows you. But this meant an illustration to show you, being consistent. The way you become wealthy, right, is investing a certain amount of money, being consistent. every
Yeah.
single month, not looking at the news, not looking at what's happening. Not see, all that person did, Liz. I have a game plan. I'm gonna put 550 a month every single month. I'm not gonna look at the news. I'm not gonna listen to the person next to me. I'm not gonna listen to my right. I'm gonna listen to my financial professional. That's gonna tell me what. Stay in.
Mm.
If it's financial professional, right? That's investment license will tell you stay invested. As a matter of fact, when the market goes down, maybe invest some more money.
Yeah.
Okay, like we
Yeah.
talked about. But if you're dollar cost averaging, you're investing money on a monthly basis, I'm telling you, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. You're gonna win long term. You're gonna win. If you do it for 3-5 years, it's but for long term, you're gonna win. But this is
Yeah.
a
Hold
perfect
on to it.
this is a perfect example of someone that stayed consistent and kept investing, and boom, look what would happen. Look what happened in that person's life. That person,
Yeah.
that person is a multi-millionaire, and all they did was being consistent.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's all they did.
Mm-hmm.
That is all they did, right? And that's the crazy part. This is the one thing that we want to make sure that everyone, yes, you can accumulate money. Yes, you can be wealthy. You just gotta be consistent. Stay the course. Don't listen to the news. Don't listen to the headlines. Don't that person turned off CNN. They didn't really care. They look at their statement. Guess what? There's several times if you look at if you look at the illustration, there's several times maybe the market went down.
Yeah.
Where you see
Yeah.
if you look
The
at top,
market value.
you look at the
Mhm.
market value went down that year, but guess what they did?
Mhm.
One thing they kept investing.
Yeah.
Kept investing, right? As a matter of fact, there was like a 2-year time frame market at 10%, 12%, 13%. You can see it on the right, but they kept investing. They stayed the course. And because they stayed the course, they end up winning.
Yeah. That's
Crazy.
so good. We've learned so much here with this. That's such a powerful slide right there because you can see just how much that money grew. And then even later, as a grown elderly man, he's able to pull money out and see that. And it's true, every situation is different. This
Mhm.
is not something that's promised and guaranteed. But
Absolutely.
one thing is true is that there's no age restriction,
Mhm.
that it's tax-free already.
Mhm.
You're not paying taxes on it. You can transfer it to anyone else
Mhm.
and their Roth IRA. So these are key things that do not change.
Absolutely.
And you can
Absolutely.
take out the money at any time. This is your individual retirement account.
Absolutely.
So cool.
Absolutely. And that's the best part. Like we talk about, like last week, I think we hit big time. 3 things when it comes to investing, and we're dollar cost averaging, diversification, and discipline. Dollar
Yeah.
cost averaging, diversification, those 3 concepts beat anything. If you follow those 3 concepts, you apply these concepts when it comes to investing, you will win long term. You will win
Mhm.
long term. Now, how big the win, it depends on how much you invest, or it's up to you. But
Yeah.
you will win long term if you follow these 3 concepts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty much it. So,
Man, that's so good because even when you're 60 or 70, 65 years old,
yeah,
you don't have to take out the 150, pay yourself
you
150
don't have
grand.
to. Exactly.
But what you need, you know what I'm saying? So that
Exactly.
money's sitting there.
Mhm. And that person, I want to take 150,000, and they can do that. Share, they can take the money out, right? They say, and they kept doing it. Guess what happened? You say, "Oh my God, they ran out of money." Nope, they still have 8 million left.
Yeah. And this person started with 550 a month. But even
Yes,
if it's 250 a month, like do it.
something. It could be
But
something.
he
Your
is
number,
doing it.
it's something. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely,
You don't have to make big money now to see big money later.
absolutely. It just you need to be consistent,
You just need to be
disciplined and
consistent.
consistent. That's it.
Wow, guys, this was so good. We see some folks on. Lisi's on. I see Timna on. My husband. Yes, I love that you guys have joined us. So, this is amazing. Love this, and we're
Yes,
looking forward to what you have for us next week with the. I noticed that you're saying a lot the 3Ds:
yes, absolutely.
diversification, the dollars, like all that stuff is really important. And
Yes,
the more you say it to us, the more it's registering, right, guys? It's
exactly.
registering. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Yes. Yes, it is powerful. My husband says he needs to watch this again. We
Yeah.
do. We need to watch it again, get a better understanding, and see, okay, well, we got to consider our age. Like he mentioned, maybe we're not 25, but
Mhm.
we're 45. The
Yes,
point is getting started. Getting
absolutely.
started.
Everybody number is different, but the key is just getting started. You'll be okay. You'll do good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So good. Have you made your appointment with your financial advisor yet? That's the question.
Good.
That
That's
is the question for our audience. Have you already sat down with a financial advisor? You're in episode 32
yes.
of learning and understanding all the different financial situations, everything from estate planning to these investments. We've heard it all. Now, are we putting it into practice? Have we contacted someone, for example, Bernard,
Mhm.
to sit down and do this free assessment of our financial assessment, right? A complimentary assessment of our analysis of our finances and say, okay, well, this is what I want to do. And I've heard you talk about Roth IRAs, and I've heard you talk about this or that and 401ks. What is it that I can do? That's our homework. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's
Now's
taking
the
the
time to
first
do it.
step. Take the first step. That's the most powerful step. Taking that first step. You don't need to make big steps. When it comes to your finances, you don't need to make major steps. Just taking that first step, even starting with something small, but being consistent, but having a game plan to increase it, to increase it, to increase it over a
Right.
period of time. And that
That's
makes
right.
a huge difference.
And your children are going to thank you, and your grandchildren are going to thank you.
Absolutely. That's called generational wealth. That's called generational wealth. Someone can get started. You could be that person that's set, that makes a big difference for your generations to come. Like the Bible taught, Proverbs 13:20, the good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. 8 million is a nice little inheritance, right?
Tell me about it.
Just by being consistent. I always joke around people. Listen, do you know the name of your great grandfather? And
Mm.
people say, no, I don't know the name, right? You know why? Because they never left you any money,
Because
right?
if they would have,
You
yep,
would remember that even if they left you $100. Hey, this is grandfather. They left me
yep,
$100, right?
yep.
Something that will make a
Let,
huge difference. You know,
let them remember your name.
absolutely,
Let them
absolutely.
remember your name. This is so good. I love this. I say yes, but keep going. On Instagram, we have comments. This is fantastic. Good job. Yeah, thank you for watching, Walters. I see Walters on Instagram.
Mhm.
Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you again next Tuesday. Listen, this is only 20, 30 minutes. We're sitting here and we're getting some good free information regarding our finances. One of the most important topics in life have to
Yeah,
do with money.
absolutely,
Let's
absolutely.
be honest.
You're right.
So thank you for joining us. Bernard, thank you for all the wealth of knowledge that you share with us every
Excited.
single week.
Excited, my pleasure. We're excited. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And let's do
We'll
this.
see you next week,
See you.
next Tuesday. All right. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Army Empire podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends. Join us next week for another exciting edition, and until then, keep building your empire.